and welcome to the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Darshan Mehta. Good morning, Agam.
Good morning, Darshan. I'm Agam Akil. Here are the top headlines. Monday blues for Indian markets as both benchmark indices trade with cuts. Adani Group stocks are the worst performers. Open interest surges in Adani ports as traders take fresh short positions in their stock futures. Zee Entertainment is trading higher today after the promoters managed to secure more time from lenders to repay their debt. Larsen & Toubro gains the most in 2 months after the capital goods major's December quarter results beat analyst estimates. And the sources tell PTI that the government may approve a farm relief package today in order to ease distress in the agricultural sector.
Okay, let's see what the markets are doing at this point of time. A cut coming in as far as the Nifty is concerned. The Nifty is down almost 0.5% given the fact that we have seen a lot of selling in the Adani Group stock and a lot of financials which are moving the markets down. So the Nifty down 0.6%. Pull up the Bank Nifty and we can see where traction is being built on the Nifty Bank, and the Nifty Bank is down almost 1%. The advance decline ratio on all F&O stocks clearly in favor of the decline. So almost one advancing stock for 4 stocks that are declining in trade. We end in the expiry week where our positions being taken 10,900, 11,000 seems to be the big resistance level that the market is building in, and even at 10,800 put writers are extremely active in trade. Today it's call writers all the way. You can see from 10,800 right up to 11,000 is the call writers that are writing in, and put writers are shedding positions in open interest. So it's the bears that are having a field day in trade today. So extremely weak set of cues. We tried, the Nifty futures did manage to hit 11,000 as far as the series is concerned, but it's downhill all the way from that level. The spot needed to cross it and that didn't happen. But Agam, stock specific wise, what are you spotting?
Well, Darshan, we already mentioned Adani Group stocks which are under the pressure, and let's pull that list up and take a look at whether or not Adani Ports certainly stands out in trade. Now, as you can see, all the 5 stocks in this particular list are declining in trade, and Dish TV, there's no respite. Despite the fact that Zee Entertainment has seen a little bit of an up move, Dish TV continues to fall even further, down 5%. Piramal Enterprises ahead of earnings also weak, and Bajaj Finance as well inching back towards the mark of 2,500 rupees per share, is also seeing a lot of fresh shorts building in. Do remember Bajaj Finance will also announce earnings tomorrow, and a whole host of other stocks which are also in focus. Of course, with respect to Adani Enterprises, we are looking at a 26% decline in OI, even as its underlying doesn't move down as much. Engineers India, KPIT Tech and IT Tech, well, a lot of weakness. Look at KPIT Technologies now. That's now currently at 108, 107. So that is also correcting quite a bit, of course, after moving out of after spinning out its engineering division. So weakness all round, save for a handful of stocks. You know, we don't have too many gainers in today's day of trade.
Okay, let's quickly take a look at the stocks that we will be focusing in trade today. Obviously, we'll speak on the Adani Group stocks which have fallen significantly. Piramal Enterprises was down 7% at one point of time. Remember, they have the numbers. Dewan Housing, very weak commentary coming in from the conference call post the earnings. We'll talk about L&T's numbers that came out. CSE has been declining in trade. The other counters we want to talk about is Biocon, Tata Elxsi, Yes Bank, and Bajaj Finance. So a whole host of stocks that we will discuss. And before we get our guests on the show, here's a reminder: if you have any queries regarding these stocks that we spoke about, you can call us on 02245404141 or write to us on Twitter, Facebook with the AskBQ hashtag. You can also write to us on YouTube in the comments section. So before wasting any more time, let's welcome our F&O experts for the day. Amar Singh of Angel Broking and Chandan Taparia of Motilal Oswal join us on the show. Good morning to both of my guests. Amar, I'll start with you. Good morning. What's the sense that you're getting? What are you telling your clients to do in this series? Long, short, or stay away?
I would say that we've been very clear that Nifty is meeting with stiff resistance around 10,950, 11,000 levels. So the risk-reward ratio also wouldn't be much in favor, and also with the events happening, the US-China trade talks and also the interim budget. Somewhere or the other, there's some, I would say some caution in the market. So, and also if you look at it technically on the daily charts, we clearly see that there is some drop in the bullish momentum, and also Nifty's has been witnessing selling pressure. And if you look at Nifty on the daily charts, we are seeing that Nifty is close to its crucial support zone of around say 10,650. So I would extend that zone to 10,550, 10,660. So that's a very crucial support zone, but higher levels are being sold into. So yes, any pullback is being used as a shorting opportunity, whereas on the downside, again, 10,650 and 10,550 zone, that should act as an immediate level of good support.
Okay, let's get in Chandan as well. Chandan, good morning. What about you? How are you reading these cues in the markets?
Yeah, the market is now finding selling pressure. In fact, on last trading session, it fell to surpass 10,950 and fell down sharply. However, it has gone to the major support zone, but yes, now it seems that bounce could be sold and limited upside could be there. So as of now, the way 10,800 put started to see unwinding, it may find support near to 10,650. So as of now, the strategy will be sell only on bounce, not suggesting to sell here, only suggesting to sell on bounce, because 10,650, 680 zone could provide some support. But yes, on bounce back move, I'll use the stop loss of 10,800, 820 to again play the downside towards 10,650 level in the Nifty index.
Okay, Chandan, I believe you have a strategy on the Nifty Bank also.
Yeah, Nifty Bank also started to have the weak structure. It started to form the lower highs, lower lows, and the resistance are gradually shifting lower. It has broken its 50-day exponential moving average and fresh call writing started to see at 27,000 strike. So because of that, now it seems that 27,350, that is the immediate hurdle, could continue to provide the sustained supply to this index, while on the downside, it has potential to go down to us 26,656, 26,500 zone.
Okay, Amar, just in terms of someone who doesn't want to take too much risk in the market, any options that if you're negative, should they sell any call or should they buy any put on the Nifty? If you can help with that.
Yeah, looking at Nifty, I would suggest that if one looks at the 10,700, particularly if you look at the 10,700 put option, that's currently around 71 levels. So, and also there is further selling could be there. So one can look at buying that put option and with a stop loss below 53 and hold for a target of 100 on the upside, because there could be further selling in Nifty as well.
Okay. Well, that's largely around the mark where the Nifty is currently trading at about 17 points before that particular put option can go in the money. And it's not unlikely that it can actually happen today itself. So with that, Amar, let me take your stock calls too for the day. What stocks are you betting on?
There are two stocks, one on the buy, the other on the sell. On the buy side, I have TCS. Because if you look at TCS, technically the stock continues to be extremely strong on the long-term charts, and even on the short-term charts the momentum has definitely increased on the upside. It did consolidate for the last few trading sessions, but over the last 3 days including today, the stock has witnessed an up move, sharp up move. So I would say that one can look at any dip in the stock towards 1925, 1930, 35 zone. That can be used as a good buying opportunity with a stop loss of 1867 and a target of 2027 on the upside, because the stock is very strong on the long-term charts. And the second stock to look at is Ambuja Cement. Ambuja Cement, what we are seeing is that the stock witnessed a sharp correction last week, and then today it's opened slightly with a down gap. It is close to its support levels, but technically if you look at it on the long term as well as the short term charts, it continues to remain weak. On the weekly charts, we are seeing some sort of consolidation, but I would say that any pullback can be used as a shorting opportunity. Ideally 205 can be a good level to short with a stop loss of 211 and a target of 192 on the downside.
I think it's a consensus long call on TCS, because Chandan, I believe you are also bullish on TCS. So that's your first call. So explain the strategy, why you are bullish on TCS, and also your second call.
Yes, we have seen buying interest in most of the IT counter, and especially naming the TCS and HCL Tech, Infosys also. Talking about the TCS, the stock has taken support at the lower band and surpasses immediate hurdle of 1935-40 zone, and also formed an inverse head and shoulder pattern which has bullish implication by surpassing its 50-day exponential moving average. We have seen short covering in the counter as on last trading session. We have seen decline in the open interest with jump in the price. So the entire setup indicates that we can head towards 2000 kind of level. So recommending to buy with a stop loss of 1915 and expecting it to move on higher side.
Okay.
Second strategy?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, second is a negative, that is on BHEL. This stock has formed an inverse cup and handle pattern. It has given a breakdown below 68 zone. Structure is weak on the daily and the weekly scale as it is making a lower top lower bottom formation. So expecting weakness to continue in the counter. One can sell on a small bounce with a stop loss of 67, while on the downside it has potential to go down towards 61 to 60 levels.
Okay, well, on that note, let's get in some views coming in and in terms of the stocks that we want to address today. One of the handful of gainers today is Larsen & Toubro, because of course we've seen not only earnings above expectations, the management commentary seems to be positive as well. And of course, the stock is advancing by around 2.7%. The management has also made a clarification with respect to the buyback, which they will take up and announce a little later on. But anything that stands out for you, Darshan, in terms of earnings?
Yeah, so basically L&T this time around the earnings were good. I think the only concern was the infrastructure margins that came down. Apart from it, there were no consensus upgrades or downgrades that came in, pretty steady. But in a market where it's difficult to find leadership position, I think stocks like L&T, Reliance, TCS, Infosys are the only ones that are finding flavor. And L&T obviously delivered a good set of numbers. The management commentary was also strong. So that traction still remains on L&T.
Okay, let's take a view on L&T too, because if I'm not mistaken, for a very long time it was consolidating and continue to move within a very narrow range. Let's get in Chandan. How are you seeing trade on this one? Is this just a temporary spurt? Is that how you're reading this, or wouldn't mind nibbling into L&T at this point in time?
The stock has given a buy signal after a long time. However, on this expiry, it's down by around 7%, trading lower than its volume weighted average. But the way it is respected to its previous week low and respected to multiple support of 1285 zone, some bounce could be seen. So here just playing for the bounce back move towards 1340, 1365 kind of zone. And for taking any position, one is to put a stop loss near to 1285, 1288 zone.
Okay, let's discuss some of the other stocks that are in focus. I think the most interesting pack will be the Adani Group pack. Huge amount of selling coming in. Counters were down close to 20%. In fact, Adani Ports was down 20% at one point of time. If I'm not wrong, Adani Enterprises has managed to recover. But Adani Ports, Adani Power continue to slide down. Adani Ports is down 9% and pull up Adani Power. Adani Power is down 11%. Chandan, what do you make of these stocks? Is there buying opportunity in any of the counters, or would you sell or would you stay away?
See, we don't have coverage on the Adani and ADSG group. But technically the setup is weak because most of these stocks have given a breakdown from its consolidation bin. So I think weakness could continue either to avoid or create the short position on any small bounce back move in these counters.
Okay, Amar, does anything stand out for you? Something like an Adani Port specifically, which has been taking a little bit of a hammering. If you have a view on Adani Ports. Secondly, if you have anything else that stands out for you in the Adani group stocks.
Yeah, I would say that looking at Adani Ports, the stock has witnessed a massive sell-off today, and it was witnessing a topping out pattern somewhere around 400 levels on the third week of January. And also, if you look at the long-term charts for the stock, it was clearly not very strong. So I would say that, and it was looking for some reason to sell off. That was very clearly evident on the long-term charts. So I think that has happened. And if you look at this stock, the lows which it has made today, it has the low it had made in October 2018 somewhere. Those levels have been they've been touched, so there is a bounce back. So that's a very strong support zone. So now what could happen that the stock could witness selling pressure further. Any pullback will be used as a shorting opportunity, and the stock could definitely go in for some consolidation.
Okay, let's shift focus to earnings. Gruh Finance reported a 7% rise in its December quarter profits. Let's discuss the key highlights of the quarter gone by with the Managing Director, Sudhin Choksi, who joins us on the phone line. Good morning, Mr. Choksi. Thanks for joining in. Decent set of numbers this time around. Your net interest income is up 8%. Your profit is up almost 7% in trade. Explain what were the key highlights. How did the quarter gone by, and will things be better in the fourth quarter?
Yes, certainly the fourth quarter would be better than the third quarter. I think you must review the performance of the third quarter in the backdrop of what happened post September event and the liquidity crunch. So we had consciously, gone slow as far as the disbursement was concerned, and we had built up a significant amount of liquid deposit, which had a negative carry as far as our NIM was concerned. So NIM had marginally, degrown from 4.08 to 3.94. I think, but going forward, the disbursements have picked up from the month of December, and they are looking even better in the month of January so far. So I think if this momentum is sustained, fourth quarter should look better than the third quarter.
What's the on-ground situation? It's been almost, we're almost in the month of Feb. Are you seeing traction again pick up on the ground in terms of disbursements? Is the NBFC crisis behind us now, or are you seeing any kind of worrying signs?
No, at the moment, I don't see any worrying sign, but real estate sector has been relatively, moving at a slower pace. I think whatever demand is, is more triggered because of the credit-linked subsidy scheme, which is being offered by the government. And there also, especially in the MIG segment, we have experienced almost 16 to 17% growth in the third quarter. LIG and EWS, we are not seeing the supply. Rural side also we are not seeing any significant growth on rural locations. So MIG seems to be moving along, as of today. So let's see. Probably the things might not change in a couple of months' time. It all depends what happens during the post-election.
Mr. Choksi, how are you seeing RBI's rate trajectory develop over, say, the next, I would say, 6 months, 7, 8 months? Do you think there could be a big change? And based on that, do you think you could see a big change in your numbers for the cost of borrowing as well as yields on loans?
No, certainly. I think, we expect that, the interest rate should soften. Inflation has remained, quite under control. The real interest rates are almost, as high as 3%. So I think there is a very strong case for the interest rates to soften going forward. And I think if the interest rates soften, obviously the borrowing costs will come down. The lending yields also will come down. And I think that should, push or, the opportunity for the growth.
Okay, sir, how do you see asset quality is going ahead? Are you seeing any kind of improvement, or in the fourth quarter it will remain at the level it is?
I think it should improve, in my opinion. Generally, over the past so many years, we have always seen the fourth quarter, the recovery performance, delivers a better results than what we do in the month of, in the third quarter. So I expect a better performance on a recovery front.
Okay, fair enough, Mr. Choksi. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining us and talking us through your earnings as well as the outlook going forward. Thank you very much for talking to Bloomberg Quint. Thank you.
Okay, let's discuss the other stocks that we had to discuss with our guest. We actually spoke about the Adani Group stocks. Let's pull up the other stocks that we want to highlight. The next one is Piramal Enterprises. Piramal Enterprises will come out with numbers today. It did see a big drop. It was down 7% at one point of time. It still continues to bleed badly in trade, but it's recovered from the lows of the day. What's the trade setup ahead of the numbers? Amar, what do you make of Piramal Enterprises? How does the F&O trade setup look for the counter?
I would say that looking at Piramal Enterprises, this stock has been in for consolidation, because if you look at the chart on the weekly as well as on the daily, it had been finding it extremely difficult to trade above the 2400 mark, and on the daily charts there was bearish divergence on the chart, and there was a crucial key resistance zone based on moving averages. And also if you look at the long-term charts for the stock, it's not very encouraging and not very positive and bullish, so higher levels were being sold into, and technically the stock has now moved into oversold territory. The stock, if you look at it, the stock somewhere has got some support around 2050 odd levels, and crucial support coming at around 2000 levels. So 2050 is going to be a very crucial support zone, because somewhere around these levels, the low that was made on 11th December. So clearly reflecting that the stock has got support there, but higher levels definitely are going to be sold into, and the stock could go in for some consolidation if it does not breach the 2000 level. So I would say till the time it doesn't really breach the 2400 mark, no major rallies expected, and that's not likely to happen, at least in the near future.
That's certainly a lot of weakness in Piramal Enterprises, and of course, we've seen accumulation OI. We're going to have to wait and watch as to how the stock reacts after its earnings comes through. But let's move on and talk about Tata Elxsi, and this is something that I've been tracking very closely. Now, Tata Elxsi had a very good year in 2018, but it has come off. It is now below the mark of 900. And more importantly, it's now trading at levels that we saw back in 2017. So it's actually wiped out all the gains that it has made in 2018. And on a 12-month basis, it is now down 18%. So for all those investors who would put in money in Tata Elxsi are actually looking at a little bit of a loss coming through. Well, I would assume that to a certain extent, this is also because of Jaguar Land Rover, considering that the company has enough exposure with respect to revenues in JLR. And the weakness speaks for itself. It's down 3%. Open interest is, well, actually is down around 8.5%. This is the January futures. Of course, we are looking at expiry. So some unwinding coming through as far as your January futures go. That said, let's take a look at what our experts have to say. Chandan, coming to you. How are you seeing trade on the stock? Well, we had some strength, but now it's looking more and more weak.
Yes, if you talk about the Tata Elxsi, we have seen buying interest in selective IT counters, especially the TCS, Wipro, Infosys, but Tata Elxsi is continuously falling down. In fact, it has formed a negative price pattern, given a breakdown from its inverted pole and flag price pattern, and shorts are intact. So I think weakness could continue, and the stock has potential to go down towards 868, 55 kind of zone.
Okay, let's discuss some of the other counters. Dewan Housing is down in trade. It's down 6-7% after weak commentary that came in from the management. Chandan, should someone short Dewan Housing Finance, or is there a bottom made nearby?
It's very tough to talk about the bottom, because in last 2-3 times it has turned from 190 kind of zone. It has come to the same level, but the way the selling is being witnessed in the counter, it seems that weakness could be continue. So either to go with the put side or avoid the position, because the structure for the counter is weak. In this entire series, it corrected by around 20% and no relief is clearly visible in the counter. So weakness could continue. If it sustains about 210, 12, then only we can understand any meaningful bottom process in the counter.
Okay, well, that's Dewan Housing Finance. Bajaj Finance is the other very interesting one that is under pressure today. It's not a stock that investors and traders usually like to short or sell, for that matter, even in their cash portfolios, but it's down. It's down 2.3% right now. It's at around 2,500. The real question is, can the management remain consistent with the earnings that we have seen so far over, I would say, the last 10 odd quarters? The performance certainly is there, with a massive growth in its top line as well as the bottom line. Even on a 3-month basis, it has advanced, and it's really hasn't seen that kind of weakness as a whole load of other stocks have seen. But, well, it is around 2540. Let's take a look at what our experts are going to say about Bajaj Finance. Amar, let me come to you on this one. Your view here. How would you place yourself for Bajaj Finance? We have earnings tomorrow for this one as well, but it's usually had strength towards the upside. But how are you reading cues now?
I would say, looking at Bajaj Finance on the daily chart, if you look at the stock on 31st December and again on 25th January, it had made a high of 2666 and 2661 respectively. But that high has not been breached. And also, if you look at it on a daily chart, we are seeing clearly signs of bearish divergence on the daily charts. And if you look at the weekly chart, there also, I would say that's not a bearish divergence, but yes, definitely there has been a significant decline in the upward bullish momentum. So that's one of the reasons the stock is unable to sustain at higher levels. And however, the long-term trend for the stock remains extremely strong on the monthly charts as well. So what is likely to happen is that the stock could correct, and somewhere around on the downside 2480, 2470, that's a very crucial support zone for this stock. So we'll have to watch out if the stock holds above that level and there is a possibility of the stock bouncing back, then we could see some bounce back towards 2550, 2600 levels. But I would say that 2650, 2660, that definitely seems to be capped for this stock. Once that is taken out, then only we could say that the uptrend has resumed, or the stock could go in for some consolidation with crucial support, as I said, 2470, 2480 on the downside.
Okay, and as we speak, Dish TV has moved into the negative. It started up rather strong in trade. Let's pull up also Z Entertainment and see what Z is doing, whether it's holding. But Z is managing to hold on. Dish TV is moved down by another 6%. So there is clear weakness that is there. And remember, the big blocks that happened on Friday from Edelweiss and IFL were in Dish TV. So that's managed to go down. It's been almost half an hour since we are speaking. Chandan, anything interesting apart from the stocks that you highlighted that is worth mentioning now?
Stocks are holding the gains while entire market has broken the support. But yes, the Kotak Bank is a counter which is comparatively finding some buying interest, and I think Kotak and IndusInd Bank and Axis Bank are a couple of names which can find some support if market has to hold. So I think some buying interest could emerge in the Kotak Bank. The stock has turned from as a support of 1260, 1265 zone. So I think one can put a stop loss near to 1260 to play an upside move towards 1310 kind of level. Already we have discussed about the TCS. Apart from that, Wipro could be a counter where some buying interest could emerge going forward.
The last time Dish TV was trading at 20 rupees a share was back in 2009. That is 10 years ago. And well, now you have it. It's at the same price. 10 years of gains all wiped out. Substantial weakness there. It's down now 9%, so it's inching towards the day's lows, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, selling coming through. We had Chandan tell us about interesting moves. Amar, does anything stand out for you in general?
So real estate. This is one stock I would say was consolidating. The trend remains bearish. Currently it's around 78 odd levels. So any pullback in this stock towards 81, 82 ideally, that can be a good level to short with a stop loss above 85 and a target of 75 on the downside.
Okay. With that, I think we are completely timed out on this edition of the F&O Show. Many thanks to both Chandan and Amar for joining us and giving us all the updates on the stocks that we wanted to discuss. But remember, if you have more, if you want to stay updated on the F&O space, you can check our website, bloombergquint.com, and you'll find all the information on that. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. Up next, we get you a special chat with Mark Mobius of Mobius Capital Partners on a special series BQ Conversation. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.